2 weeks ago, on the morning of May 13th, I woke the way I had been waking for the previous 3 weeks, not having nearly gotten enough sleep. My mind craved the sleep that my body rejected, and in the velvety dark midnight hours I would drift to sleep, and just to be awoken a few hours later. Wow. That day, I should have felt relieved. I was finally graduating from my master's program, but like many things in academia, there is more work to be done. On that particular day, I had my graduation ceremony, a luncheon with family, and then I had to entertain guests at a graduation party. I'm sure you're thinking, wow, poor you, a whole day to celebrate. Not just you. But having catered to the whimsies of others for 2 years, it's hard for me to shed my victim's complex. I shook off the sleepiness, I ate a hearty breakfast, and I readied for the commencement ceremony. When I arrived at the World Arena, it was a bustling hive of morning activity. I found a classmate and we rushed down the anthill to join the swarms of other graduates. All donned in black robes, we marched out into the auditorium and were greeted by applause. I looked up, found my family, and they watched as I walked across the stage towards the beginning of the program. In traditional fashion, the undergraduates whooped and cheered and threw their caps at the end of the ceremony, and I rushed off to my lunch. My grandparents had reserved a private dining room that was in a configuration very similar to this room, with me at the head of the table, my partner Matt to my left, and our respective siblings, parents, and grandparents seated around the table. Everybody sat after introductions. Matt and I have been dating for over 5 years, and not all of our family had crossed paths, so they were sheepishly talking about, whether or not there would be an engagement since I was finally done with school. And actually, some had wagered bets about a proposal, so they were all feeling very pleased with themselves. The champagne was poured, and my grandfather stood up and gave a very eloquent toast. And because my family knew I was in Toastmasters, they demanded a speech. Luckily, I had prepared some notes, but unfortunately I hadn't practiced as much as I would have liked, and it became more of an impromptu speech, which now I understand the expertise that's needed for such a endeavor. So I got up, I thanked my family, I thanked Matt's family because they had been supporting me in Colorado for the past 4 years. And I got on to the part of the speech that Matt and I had devised. I started talking in hypotheticals about a future wedding. And we asked our siblings to be in our bridal party and groomsmen crew, to which they enthusiastically said yes. And at this point, our parents and grandparents were very confused. They're like, this must be an awkward proposal or something. So from over where about Sterling's sitting, I heard Matt's mother say, just do it already. And so Matt and I shrugged, and he turned to me and asked me to marry him, and I said yes. The high-fiving and the general atmosphere that was going on in the room, I cleared my throat and I said, if it pleases everyone, Matt and I would like to actually end our engagement today. And I reached back in my purse and pulled out a long, silky white marriage certificate. And the silence was deafening. Both of our families figured out what we had just done. And then the floodgates opened. So through the blurry eyes and the snotty noses, Matt and I exchanged clumsy vows, rings, and we signed the marriage certificate. We have been planning this surprise wedding since October. We both desired a non-traditional wedding with close family, and my family was already coming out to Colorado for my graduation. So that was number one, and number two was that May 13th happened to be our 5-year, 6-month anniversary, so what better day to surprise everyone. Additionally, this setup offered the perfect buy one, get one free, as I had planned and paid for a graduation party that turned into a wedding reception. Needless to say, I slept very easy on the night of May 13th. And like anesthesia, once the effect of the surprise wore off, the family was very happy at the way we had orchestrated things. And then the newlywed question rolled in, well, how is it being married and all? And it was easy for me to answer that it had been pretty much the same as it had been for the last 5.5 years, which was magical because my partner is amazing. Thank you.